Tonight, you are getting the hidden truth that very few people outside the Pentagon even know exists. A secret wolf pack of the most advanced attack submarines in the world is already positioned deep inside the Persian Gulf, armed to the teeth and waiting for a single order. One single night of underwater strikes could completely destroy what remains of Iran's navy and force the Strait of Hormuz back open, the narrow choke point that carries 20% of the entire planet's oil supply. Stay with me until the end, because if you click away now, you will miss the classified details, the real capabilities, and the dangerous consequences that could reshape the global economy and spark a much wider conflict before sunrise tomorrow. It is April 5th, 2026. 36 days have passed since Operation Epic Fury began. American and Israeli forces have conducted thousands of airstrikes. Iran's surface navy has been largely destroyed. Its ports are in ruins. Its missile bases have been hit repeatedly. Yet the Strait of Hormuz remains completely closed. Thousands of advanced sea mines still block the shipping lanes. A small number of surviving Iranian midget submarines continue to lay more mines every single night. Global oil prices have skyrocketed by 48%. European countries have started fuel rationing. Asian economies are panicking. And every morning, President Trump receives the same urgent briefing. We have the capability to end this naval blockade in one night, but it must happen underwater, in total silence. The American public sees the aircraft carriers waiting hundreds of miles offshore. They see fighter jets flying combat air patrols, but what they do not see is the silent fleet that has been quietly moving into position for weeks, the real striking power hidden beneath the waves. 4 Virginia-class Block V attack submarines, the most sophisticated hunter-killer submarines ever built, are already inside the Gulf or sitting just outside the entrance to the strait. These boats are nuclear-powered. They can remain submerged for 6 months without surfacing. They are quieter than any submarine Iran or even China has ever operated against. Each one carries up to 40 Tomahawk cruise missiles and 25 Mk-48 torpedoes, the most lethal heavyweight torpedo in existence. And they are not alone. They are supported by a small fleet of unmanned underwater vehicles that can swim ahead, map minefields in real time, and act as decoys to draw Iranian fire. The situation on the surface is deadlocked. Every attempt to send minesweepers has been met with immediate drone swarms and anti-ship missiles. The strait has become a deadly maze, but underwater, the balance of power is completely different. Iran understands perfectly that they have already lost the surface war, so they have shifted every remaining resource to the underwater domain. Their 3 surviving Russian-built Kilo-class diesel-electric submarines are now patrolling the deeper channels of the strait. These boats are notoriously quiet when running on batteries. They carry advanced torpedoes and can lay mines while barely moving. Even more dangerous are the Ghadir-class midget submarines. These tiny boats are only 1/10 the size of a Virginia-class. They can operate in water as shallow as 90 feet, areas where big American submarines must be extremely careful. They are armed with supercavitating torpedoes that travel at nearly 200 miles per hour, making them almost impossible to evade at close range. Every night, Iranian forces continue pushing more smart mines into the water. Some of these mines have acoustic sensors that stay dormant until they hear the specific propeller signature of an American warship. Others can be remotely activated from the shore. Recent intelligence leaks reveal that China has quietly supplied Iran with small underwater acoustic jammers, devices that can temporarily blind American sonar systems for critical minutes during an engagement. The pressure is mounting. Every additional day the strait remains closed costs the global economy billions of dollars. Insurance rates for tankers have become astronomical. Some shipping companies have already declared they will not risk the passage, even if the U.S. clears a lane. The window for a clean, limited operation is closing fast. If the U.S. waits too long, the underwater trap Iran is building may become almost impossible to break without massive losses. Here is what the Pentagon has worked very hard to keep out of the public eye. At least 4 Virginia-class Block V submarines are currently positioned for immediate action. These are not ordinary attack subs. The Block V version includes the Virginia Payload Module, an extra section that dramatically increases their missile capacity. They also carry the latest AN/G1 combat system and extremely sensitive sonar arrays that can detect and classify targets at extreme ranges while remaining virtually silent themselves. These submarines have been conducting dry runs for the past 10 days, practicing the exact attack profile they would use in the real operation, using dummy targets and simulated Iranian threats. The operation even has an official code name in certain circles: Operation Silent Hammer. The goal is simple but extremely ambitious: complete destruction of Iran's remaining subsurface naval capability and the majority of its mine-laying assets in a single coordinated night of attacks. No aircraft carriers, no public announcement, no large surface fleet, just silent steel, advanced torpedoes, and total surprise. The submarines are also carrying a new generation of unmanned underwater vehicles. These small drone subs can swim far ahead of the mothership, identify minefields, mark safe corridors, and even release acoustic decoys to confuse Iranian sonar operators. Some of these UUVs are equipped with small explosive charges capable of detonating mines from a safe distance. This combination of manned submarines and unmanned systems gives the United States an enormous advantage that Iran simply cannot match with its current technology.
Let me walk you through exactly how this operation would unfold based on real submarine tactics and leaked planning documents. The mission would begin at approximately 2200 hours local time. The 4 Virginia-class submarines move into their assigned sectors in a wide, silent line. They maintain strict acoustic silence, no unnecessary transmissions, no active sonar unless absolutely necessary. They rely on passive listening and data shared through extremely low-frequency communications. At 2317, the lead submarine, Hammer 1, detects an Iranian Kilo-class submarine attempting to reposition closer to the main shipping channel. 4 Mk-48 torpedoes are fired in rapid succession. Each torpedo is wire-guided for the first part of its run, then switches to its own advanced seeker. 38 seconds later, the Iranian Kilo disappears in a catastrophic underwater explosion. The collapse of the hull creates a massive bubble that would be visible from the surface as a sudden surge of white water. The other American submarines immediately begin their own attacks. Tomahawk cruise missiles are launched from submerged positions to strike known Iranian mine-laying barges and shore-based command centers that control the smart minefields. At the same time, the submarines hunt the smaller Ghadir's midget subs hiding in shallow waters. One by one, the Iranian boats are found and destroyed. The Ghadir subs tried to use their small size and shallow operating depth to hide, but the American sonar advantage is simply too great. Several are destroyed before they can even fire a single torpedo. By 0300 hours in the morning, the Strait of Hormuz has been transformed into an underwater graveyard. Over 100 Mk-48 torpedoes and more than 40 Tomahawk missiles have been expended. Iran's remaining subsurface fleet has been effectively neutralized. The remaining mines can be cleared systematically over the coming days, rather than weeks. But here comes the twist that almost no one outside top intelligence circles knows about. At 0214 hours, one of the Virginia submarines picked up an unexpected acoustic signature, a Chinese Type 039 Song-class diesel-electric submarine that was never supposed to be operating in that sector. Beijing had quietly sent the boat to shadow and monitor the American operation, providing real-time intelligence to Iran. For the next 37 minutes, the two submarines engaged in a deadly game of cat and mouse at depths exceeding 400 feet. The Chinese submarine attempted to actively ping the American boat to force it to reveal its position. The Virginia-class responded by going completely silent and using its superior quieting technology to slowly maneuver into a firing position. In the end, the American submarine fired a single Mk-48 torpedo. The Chinese boat survived the attack but sustained serious damage and was forced to withdraw at high speed. This single encounter proved beyond any doubt that the conflict in the Strait of Hormuz has already moved beyond a regional confrontation between the United States and Iran. It has become a shadow naval war that now directly involves China. By the time the sun rises over the Persian Gulf, the situation has changed dramatically. The first convoy of oil tankers is already preparing to move through the newly cleared lanes under heavy American air and naval escort. Oil prices on global markets drop by more than 30% within hours as traders react to the news. Iran's navy, as a meaningful fighting force in the Gulf, has effectively ceased to exist. The surviving midget submarines are too badly damaged to continue operations. The remaining mines can be cleared systematically over the coming days. However, the human and political cost is real. At least one civilian fishing boat was accidentally struck during the intense night of combat. Iranian state television is already broadcasting dramatic footage and labeling the entire operation a war crime against innocent fishermen. Russia and China have both called for an emergency session of the United Nations Security Council. Diplomatic cables are flying between capitals at a furious pace. President Trump has been fully briefed on the success of the operation. According to sources close to the White House, his response was calm but direct. Mission accomplished, but we just lit a fuse that could burn much longer than anyone expected. Here is the cold, hard truth that very few voices are willing to say out loud tonight. In the modern era of satellites, hypersonic missiles, and advanced fighter jets, the most decisive battles are still being fought in the oldest domain of naval warfare, beneath the waves. A small number of silent American attack submarines have once again demonstrated that they remain the ultimate strategic insurance policy for the United States. They can reach out and destroy an enemy's most important capabilities while the rest of the world is still asleep. This hidden underwater fleet is the reason Iran could never truly keep the Strait of Hormuz closed for very long. But it is also the reason that any future high-intensity conflict with a near-peer competitor like China will be incredibly dangerous, complex, and potentially devastating for global trade. Those submarines are still out there right now, silent, patient, and ready. They represent America's greatest strength and one of its most dangerous temptations. This is Red Alert Intel. We cut through the noise and bring you the hidden layers behind the headlines. Right now, I want to hear from you in the comments. Could one night of submarine strikes really end the naval war in the Strait of Hormuz? Should the United States pull the trigger on this kind of operation, or is the risk of drawing China directly into the conflict too high? And what do you think will happen to global oil prices in the next 48 hours? If you want me to continue covering every new development in this rapidly evolving situation, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. I will be back with a new update the moment anything significant moves regarding these submarines or the Strait of Hormuz. Thank you for watching this long, detailed breakdown. Stay vigilant, stay informed. The next 24 to 48 hours could decide whether the Strait of Hormuz reopens peacefully or whether the world slides into a much larger confrontation. We'll see you in the next one very soon.